Coming up tonight, VAT one step closer to becoming a reality.
Also tonight, a showdown in the House over the issue of leadership.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, hear what an advocate for small and medium-sized businesses has to say about the passage of the VAT bill.
And in sports, highlights from Night League softball. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
Now in HD. Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
Off the top tonight, despite Acting Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis calling for Fort Charlotte MP Andre Rollins to meet to discuss his future as chairman of the gaming board, ZNS News understands Rollins was a no-show.
We also understand that the Acting Prime Minister intends to make a final decision as early as tonight on Dr. Rollins' status as chairman of the gaming board. We'll continue to follow this developing story. Well, in other news tonight, value-added tax is one step closer to becoming law.
That's right. The bill passed in the House of Assembly last night with members of the lower chamber voting in overwhelming support of the bill. 22 voted for the new tax system from the government side and 8 voted against the bill, inclusive of all the opposition members and Marco City MP Greg Moss. Now, 4 members were not present to vote for the bill, including Prime Minister Perry Christie and Tourism Minister Obi Wilchcombe, who were both out of the country. Also absent, Social Services Minister Melanie Griffin, Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister V. Alfred Gray, and Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller. We get more from Clint Watson.
The controversial VAT bill was passed in the House of Assembly Wednesday night. Its approval came amidst protests from various groups, members of the opposition, and even from members of the governing party. Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis, in wrapping up debate, reiterated that VAT tax is the best course of action for the country, a view Acting Prime Minister Philip Davis also shared.
This is the best course of action that we can take today to restore the public finances, to stimulate growth in the economy, and to improve the standard of living for Bahamians, Mr. Speaker. We are committed to its successful implementation.
We have depended on borrowings for far too long. The debt to GDP is now beyond alarming, and a responsible government must tax.
Targeted assistance programs are expected to mitigate the financial burden of the new tax, while value-added tax will allow government to collect much-needed revenue. But Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement and Long Island member Loretta Butler Turner said the government may not collect as much money as it expects.
Especially as unemployed consumers have limited income to purchase various goods and services. Furthermore, we are now about to be hit by double taxation, having to pay customs duties and other import-related fees, as well as VAT on top of that, as I said earlier. We don't know how long this double taxation will continue.
Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama Peter Turnquest is gravely concerned about how another tax will impact the middle class and the poor.
But particularly the middle class, as they will be the ones to bear most of the burden of this tax. They are too rich to benefit from any social service benefits or initiatives that will be implemented to offset the effects of VAT, and too poor to cross over the economic bar that will minimize the effect on their incomes or to be insignificant as a percentage of their take-home pay.
And although there might be mounting concerns over the bill, Financial Services Minister Ryan Pinder outlined benefits of being a VAT-registered business versus being exempted.
It's not a good thing to be exempt, because you are adding an expense to your business and not recovering it when you sell the product. If you remember what I said, I charged you $15, but I only gave the government $5.25 because I had already paid the $9.75. If you're exempt, you don't collect the $15 and you don't give anything to the government, except for what you've already given, which means the cost of doing business has gone up.
The new value-added tax is expected to be implemented January 1st, 2015. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Well, Deputy Leader of the Free National Movement and Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner, in her contribution to the debate, said that government may not collect as much money as it expects from VAT.
especially as unemployed consumers have limited income to purchase various goods and services. Furthermore, we are now about to be hit by double taxation, having to pay customs duties and other import-related fees, as well as VAT on top of that, as I said earlier. We don't know how long this double taxation will continue.
An advocate for small and medium-sized businesses pulled out the stops today as he laid out his recommendations to government and business owners on the controversial value-added tax bill, which was passed in the House of Assembly last evening. Tonight, our Charisma Robinson breaks down what the advocate says both the government and small business owners must consider as the country moves toward tax reform.
He's been advocating for small and medium-sized businesses for quite some time. Consultant to the government Mark Turnquest made it quite clear Thursday, though, his position on VAT implementation from both the government and small business perspective. He says first and most importantly, he agrees that a 7.5% value-added tax will be the best stream of revenue for government, contrary to what many may believe.
VAT will be dangerous to the society. As it is now, we have to have accountability and transparency first and foremost. Demand that your member of parliament votes no to VAT. Protect the poor man.
But that did not happen as the bill was passed in Parliament Wednesday. Member of Citizens for a Better Bahamas Duran Thompson's view may reflect similarities for many of the small businesses that are represented under Turnquest's advocacy. However, he says there are realities that must be accepted.
7.5%, it's doable. And once businesses are focused on operational effectiveness and efficiency, they should be able to do that. So you can't look at it from a day-to-day basis. You got to look at it from a strategic point of view, that years down the road, our country will be better off in a better fiscal position than we are today.
He outlines two main recommendations he believes government should seriously consider with the new tax system. In the first recommendation, Turnquest is calling on government to focus its training separately, as manufacturing, merchandising, and services all have different business models. Turnquest is also lobbying for a 3-year flat rate of 7.5% or an adjustment of customs and excise duties, as many businesses enter fixed contracts normally for 3 years.
If VAT goes, say, from 7 to 10%, and you have a fixed fee, because you price the contract within the 7.5, it's difficult to renegotiate. So it's also, the small business got to look at that also, say, look, I'm going in the contract, I can make sure I think about that.
Now, in his contribution to the VAT debate, State Minister for Finance Michael Halkitis outlined the filing periods for major and small businesses. Turnquest says it's reasonable, but he gave this advice to small businesses.
But most definitely, you cannot move forward unless you seek advice of accounting, because he or she could guide you how to actually report your sales in reference to VAT.
There's no denying that the new approach to tax reform will be difficult for some businesses. But as Turnquest pointed out, getting professional help should ease what government officials are calling a necessary pain that will come for some when VAT is introduced. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
Well, still ahead tonight, a leadership row in the House of Assembly.
And ZNS on the scene of the country's latest homicide. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight live.
Shell Quality Fuels.